Today on Investigate TV Plus, schools across the country face a crisis when it comes to feeding students.
I was very hungry and it was hard to go through school that day because I had nothing to eat.
We reveal the potential solution that some states are already adopting.
Plus, screens were essential for education during the pandemic. Why doctors are now blaming them for a growing diagnosis among children.
And they come in after COVID and bam, we've changed 3 years worth in only a year.
And a shudder of respect. How this veteran is honoring her sisters in service. In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus.
Children shouldn't have to worry where their next meal will come from. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell, but it's a reality for millions of kids in the U.S. Feeding America estimates 1 in 8 children in the U.S. experiences food insecurity.
However, rates can reach as high as 1 in 2 children in certain parts of the country, like East Carroll Parish, Louisiana.
As families face rising grocery costs, schools are trying to fill that gap but face hurdles of their own.
Investigative reporter Kristen Crowley shows us the growing problem, its cost, and the push to bring a federal pandemic-era policy back.
This is very important.
High school freshman DeJuan Strickland doesn't worry about where his next meal will come from, but he remembers a time when he did.
I was very hungry and it was hard to go through school that day because I had nothing to eat.
In 4th grade, when it was time for lunch, his plate of food was taken away.
My lunch balance hit 0, so I didn't have enough money to eat lunch that day. And that kind of really stuck with me because I had to sit at a table and watch other kids eat their lunch and I couldn't eat lunch myself.
So you just sat at a table with no food in front of you?
Yeah.
As he got older, he couldn't shake the memory of going through the school day hungry. So he started a GoFundMe page to pay off student lunch debts at his former St. Louis area elementary school.
The goal was $4,000 and we raised almost $10,000 to offset lunch balances at schools. It was actually enough to split it with 2 other schools.
His generosity and philanthropy saved students from feeling the same hunger and embarrassment he once felt.
It can start making an impact.
But DeJuan knows there are so many others not getting that help.
Among schools that have to charge for meals right now, 96% are reporting challenges with unpaid meal debt, and about 2/3 report significant challenges.
Diane Pratt-Heavner is spokesperson for the School Nutrition Association. The nonprofit survey of more than 1,000 school nutrition directors across the country found school meal debt is more than $19 million. And growing.
What is your group seeing nationwide when it comes to this issue?
Unfortunately, we've seen a dramatic increase in unpaid meal debt as a result of the end of federal pandemic waivers that allowed all schools to offer free meals to all students.
Those waivers made in-school meals free for all public students, a benefit that ended in the 2022-2023 school year. Pratt-Heavner says inflation, coupled with stagnant or lost wages, has made the expense impossible for even middle-class families.
What was student lunch debt like before the pandemic?
Basically, we would see maybe $19,000 for an entire year.
For the whole district?
For the whole district.
Lori Dinella, the nutrition director for Lee's Summit Schools in Missouri, says the debt for its 25 buildings this year?
We're right at $10,000 and we've been in school for 10 days. So we're accumulating about $1,000 worth of debt a day.
So in theory, it could be $172,000 in debt by the time the year's over.
Yes.
A lunch for its elementary schools is $2.90. For its middle and high schools, $3.10. But Danella says even though that's relatively affordable, many families struggle to pay it.
They have their mortgage, their rent, gas has increased, groceries has increased. So basically school meals have been put on the back burner so they could pay their other bills first.
Lee's Summit says it will never deny a child a meal, and it won't hold the debt against them if they can't repay it. But that comes at a cost to the district, which has to cover whatever is left. Pratt-Heavner says many districts are carrying that burden.
Trying to find donations in their community to help cover the cost and then even cutting into school district funds intended for education.
That's why the School Nutrition Association is pushing Congress to bring back free meals for all public school students for good. But the issue is divisive. Democrats in Congress have tried to bring back universal school meals permanently, but as of late 2023, the bill has no Republican co-sponsors. The Republicans' budget proposal wants to eliminate free meals for all students, saying school lunch and breakfast programs are subject to widespread fraud. If it doesn't happen on a federal level, each state could make the move. So far, 8 of them have: California, Maine, Minnesota, New Mexico, Colorado, Vermont, Michigan, and Massachusetts. It's a change lawmaker Brian Seitz of Missouri wants to see happen, and he is an unlikely advocate for the measure.
I think they found it unusual because I am a fiscal conservative, but this has something to do with children.
Representative Seitz is a Republican in a heavily Republican state. He drafted a proposal for universal free meals in Missouri that never made it to committee, but he vows to try again.
If kids can receive a better education, the test scores would improve, that's great for the whole state, and I think it's something that we can do. Now we just have to convince fellow lawmakers that there is a need.
DeJuan doesn't need any convincing.
I'm hoping with a nonprofit organization we can do this more and more often.
He's continuing efforts to raise money for students, even if lawmakers won't, because he says in the end, children are the ones paying the price.
They can't help it. They don't have like a job that they're paying, like they can pay it off and stuff. They have to rely like on their parents. So as a kid, you're just kind of like really stuck there, and that's not a feeling that any kid should be experiencing at all.
Right now, families with certain income levels can qualify for free or reduced meals at school. But Danella says in her district, many who are struggling to make ends meet don't qualify because the guidelines say they make too much money. She encourages people to call their local lawmakers and voice their concerns for feeding children.
The need doesn't stop at the end of the school year.
On an average day in July of 2022, almost 3 million children used a summer meal program.
From Virginia to Hawaii and many places in between, we found school districts teaming up with national and local nonprofits to feed children during the summer.
Sometimes in the summer, parents are working all year round, and we have children who are older and home alone and could use some meals, so they're welcome to come out.
To find a summer meal program near you, head to the U.S. Food and Nutrition Services website at fns.usda.gov/meals4kids. Still ahead, punching up. How self-defense classes are giving women the confidence to fight back against sexual assault.
I know how much it has completely turned my life around in a 180.
Plus, more children are being diagnosed with an irreversible condition. How you can spot the signs in your child before it's too late.
The younger you are whenever you're myopic, the higher your prescription will be in adulthood.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes. It's an eye condition growing so quickly, doctors are calling it an epidemic.
We're talking about myopia or nearsightedness. According to the American Academy of Ophthalmology, by 2050, half the world will likely be nearsighted, and that includes children. Eye doctors say time spent indoors on screens is contributing to a rise in myopia cases in young people. We go in depth to reveal the new strategies coming into focus to save your child's sight. Jackie Dominguez works as an eye doctor's assistant, but her most important patient lives at home. Her daughter, already wearing glasses before COVID, started having even more trouble seeing.
And so she was at the point where she could no longer go a normal day without wearing her glasses.
Dr. Rebecca Sanders, an optometrist in Waco, noticed the rapid change in vision for many children post-pandemic, mainly an increase in cases of nearsightedness or an increased progression of the condition.
And they come in after COVID and bam, we've changed 3 years worth in only a year.
A dramatic change, Dr. Sanders says, was likely due to an increase in virtual learning during the height of the pandemic. According to a study published in JAMA Pediatrics, the amount of time kids spent looking at televisions, computers, and phones increased by 52%. But even though kids are back in the classroom, the screens haven't gone away. A separate JAMA study revealed children's screen time post-pandemic remained elevated even after COVID precautions were lifted. Ochsner Health optometrist Dr. Danny Tran says an increase in up-close viewing can lead to changes inside the eye.
So essentially what happens in the eye when you're nearsighted or you're myopic is that the eye is growing and it's getting longer. And a longer eye, what you'll notice is that you can see up close, but you won't be able to see far away.
A condition that is irreversible and can lead to more serious vision problems down the road. Dr. Tran recommends parents offset screen time by getting their kids outside in nature for around 90 minutes a day, a nice break from their devices.
The thought behind that is it can offset some of the up-close work and the demands, because a lot of learning nowadays is, online and on the iPad.
What is it about being outside?
So that's a good question. There's still a lot of research that's being done on that, but the idea is the sunlight can help increase dopamine production, and that has been shown to potentially slow myopia progression.
If outdoor distance viewing is not an option, Dr. Tran says consider the 20-20-20 rule.
For every 20 minutes of prolonged computer work, take a 20-second break by looking 20 feet off in the distance, and that will help your eyes relax and reduce some of the eye strain.
Experts we spoke to said children may not tell you if they're having trouble seeing. The Mayo Clinic says to look for the signs of vision problems such as headaches, excessive squinting, turning their head to the side, or a short attention span. It's best to get a myopia diagnosis early.
The idea is the younger you are whenever you're myopic or whenever you're diagnosed with myopia, the higher your prescription will be in adulthood. So we'd like to catch it as quickly as possible, and if progression is noted, we'd like to kind of prevent the progression as much as possible.
Jackie Dominguez enrolled her daughter in a myopia treatment plan called Treehouse Eyes, aimed at preventing myopia progression. Their protocol involves using special contact lenses to be worn during the day or overnight, or prescription eye drops.
I think she realizes that it's helping her, and so she doesn't want to miss like a night's worth of drops.
Or the many more years to come of seeing the world through a healthy pair of eyes. So that's some good advice, the 20-20-20 rule. I'm sure most people are on the computer longer than 20 minutes.
I hate to tell you this, but during your story, I'm like, I looked off for like 20 seconds to the side just to see. So I may adopt that. It's good
fit
advice.
it in when you can.
Fit it in, yes.
Yeah. Or Dr. Tran suggests if you suspect any problems with your baby's vision, get their eyes checked within the first 6 months. He also recommends an eye exam around 3 to 4 years old before they start school. And if you are diagnosed with myopia, be sure to see your eye doctor once a year.
Still ahead, a snapshot salute. This veteran's mission to frame the brave faces of women who serve.
Plus, empowerment in action.
We want them to keep going, keep fighting.
We introduce you to the group of women taking the fight against sexual assault into their own hands.
You don't want to wait until something happens to decide that now you're going to do something about it.
Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to InvestigateTV Plus on all social media platforms. More than half of women and almost 1 in 3 men experience sexual violence in their lifetime. While the CDC first recognizes the need to stop perpetrators of sexual violence, one of its approaches to prevention is empowerment-based training or self-defense training. One class in Nashville is giving women the tools to fight back against sexual assault.
Reporter Holly Thompson shows us how the program is creating more than a sense of safety.
It's not your normal self-defense class. This is Aggressor Night. where women of all ages and sizes face real-life scenarios, learn how to fight back, and get away.
Where you going? Come here. Come here. Come here.
It's all part of the 6-week Rape Aggression Defense course, also known as RAD, that involves awareness, prevention, and self-defense techniques.
Throw an elbow like this. So, boom, just like that. If I get really close to you.
Taught by Sergeant Jason Hurley and Master Patrol Officer Caitlin Adams with MTSU Police.
We want them to keep going, keep fighting, do whatever they have to do by any means possible to make sure that they go home when it's all said and done.
Sadly, more women may need this training. Numbers from the Bureau of Justice Statistics show an increase of 352 sexual assault offenses in Tennessee from 2021 to 22.
I was ultimately just terrified with the things that happened that I decided I needed to make a drastic change.
You're gonna just reach back to the middle of your shoulder blades.
Terry Glass escaped a violent relationship and discovered RAD.
I'm going deep past his grip so I can violently rip his hands downward.
Now she's teaching others self-defense at Nashville Krav Maga.
I know how much it has completely turned my life around in a 180 in the way I feel about myself, that I 1000% want to help people.
What's your message for women watching this story right now?
I don't care where you are in life, train, because it's never too early. You don't want to wait until something happens to decide that now you're going to do something about it.
Nothing's 100%, but at least they have something to fall back on and to use, and that could potentially save their life.
You just heard how the class made women feel safer, but are they safer?
A study from the University of Oregon says yes. Sociologist Jocelyn Hollander surveyed a group of female college students who took a 10-week self-defense training course and a group who did not. She found women who did not take the class experienced sexual assault at a rate more than twice the women who did take the class. And none of the women who took the class were raped. Hollander notes the study was designed to empower women. She adds a woman's ability to defend herself doesn't mean she's responsible for stopping violence.
Still ahead, portraits of patriots who sometimes go unnoticed.
They'll say, thank you to your husband, it's for serving. And I kind of get mad and I said, look, I'm the one that served.
How this veteran is honoring fellow women who served.
I'm Viv Williams with a medical mythbuster moment. The myth: we only use 10% of our brains. That myth has been around for a long time. A study in the journal Psychology, Learning, and Teaching listed the 10% myth as being one of the top misconceptions out there. Dr. Barry Gordon, a Johns Hopkins neurologist, debunked it. He told Scientific American that we use virtually every part of the brain and that most of the brain is active almost all the time. He went on to explain that the reason the 10% myth is stuck around may have to do with what people think of their own brains. They see shortcomings and blame them on the 90% of untapped, unused potential. With a medical mythbuster moment, I'm Viv Williams.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime streaming online. Get the app for Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. They're free to download.
Fewer people are serving in the U.S. military.
The Defense Department's most recent data shows from 2021 to 22, the number of overall service members in the U.S. dropped 2.7%.
But in that same time frame, more women signed up to serve. They now make up about 17% of active duty and 21% of reserve service members.
A veteran in Texas is on a mission to honor her fellow women who serve.
Reporter Brittany Crittenden shows us how.
I'm gonna have you stand just like this. You're gonna be facing.
Sarah Weedy is trying to help show these veterans the honor they deserve. One photo at a time.
They signed the check that was blank, payable to the amount of their lives. We knew that there was a risk associated with it. Did you miss the Navy?
An Air Force pilot herself, Weedy volunteered to start the tribute project after hearing stories like this.
Tapped her like on the shoulder and was like, hey, you should be ashamed of yourself. She's like, why? He's like, you're wearing your husband's jacket. That is stolen valor. You're actually the second.
Unfortunately, Sailor Patricia Roberts has had similar experiences.
They'll say, thank you to your husband, it's for serving. And I kind of get mad and I said, look, I'm the one that served. I said, my ID card, here's my ID card.
There's some that don't smile, there's some that do. The whole purpose of this photo shoot was just to kind of let people know, hey, there are female veterans in the community. We raised our right hand just like our brothers did, and we're here, We're not looking for praise or accolades, nothing like that. We just want people to know that we're here.
Donna Sargent served in nuclear medicine in the Air Force in the 70s. She says there used to be limited career fields for women in the military.
Now we got girls that fly fighter planes. So, there's just no career field not open to women anymore. And I think that's great.
Wheaty's tribute to women veterans has been gaining attention. She's taken photos in cities from El Paso to Big Spring.
We just wanted them to know that the women are out here and serving just like the men are, on the ships, out in combat, the whole 9 yards.
And here's some of the results of Sarah's work honoring the women who serve. And these pictures are just so phenomenal. And I think what she said is that they just want women to know that other women were there and to consider women in the military.
And there are a lot, and look at the statistics we said earlier, it shows a lot of women are in the military right now. So very nice, and if you see a female person in military gear, thank them
for
their service, exactly.
Well, that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Thanks for watching.
On the next Investigate TV Plus, patients' lives forever changed by a virus that has no cure in sight.
No one sees the war that you're battling.
We're investigating what can be done for millions of Americans suffering from long COVID.